You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I made a couple of videos on this in the last 4 days, including my last one, on the idea that I just felt like the movement was going in the direction of Steve Wilks getting the heave-ho out of San Francisco after giving up scoring plays on 4 consecutive drives to the Chiefs to blow the Super Bowl. But look, guys, Steve Wilks being fired had as much to do with things that happened sporadically throughout the season as anything. And I knew as soon as he called the 5 defensive back look for the second time after having been burned on it just a few plays earlier, and then Kyle Shanahan calling a timeout because he did not want the play to be run again, I said then, if we lose this game, Steve Wilks, in light of the all-out jailbreak blitz he called against the Vikings that gave up a touchdown, and I think he came very close to being fired then. There was a lot of fire for about a week after that, and I think if Kyle Shanahan had it to do over, he would have let that dude go right then and there, and I bet he is having buyer's remorse. I hated this hire from the jump. I did. This is the play I'm talking about. You see these defensive backs back here. There's the first down marker. He put all these defensive backs back here.
All the way back there as if you got an extra. I think Kyle didn't like it. He goes, no. No offense. This is where he's telling Steve.
Okay. Listen to Romo.
That deep pass earlier in the game. Timeout called by San Francisco.
5 guys up there, Jim. All the way back there as if you got an extra. I think Kyle didn't like it. He goes, no. No offense. This is where he's telling Steve. I don't want to go cover 0 because you feel like we got to come after him here. Give me a different play. That's why he did it.
Okay, give me a different play. He called it again after having been burned on it already, just a few plays earlier. And when they lined up in the set earlier, I was literally screaming at my TV going, what are you doing? You're just giving them a first down. And they got a first down. Few plays later, you call the same play again. And when Kyle Shanahan, when the head coach has to burn a timeout, you're in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of trouble. And Steve Wilks has been fired. Right here, 49ers head coach said at Tuesday's press conference that he expected all of the team's coaches, including defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, back for the 2024 season. But Wednesday brought very different news from Wilks' future with the NFC West club. At the start of a hastily scheduled press conference on Wednesday afternoon, Shanahan told reporters that Wilks has been dismissed after 1 year on the job. Wilks was hired after DeMeco Ryans left the team to become the Texans head coach last year. The 49ers were 3rd in points allowed and 8th in yards allowed during the regular season. Also, the failures during the amount of points that were given up in bunches during this postseason run led to this as well, as much as anything else. He had multiple things going against him, but they had less success holding offenses in check in the postseason, and Shanahan said he didn't feel Wilks was ultimately the right fit for what the team wants to do defensively. You've got all these studs on defense, and for a team that made a name off of itself for the last several years on being physical, being a team on defense nobody wanted to play, they lost all their physicality. It wouldn't shock me if Nick Bosa has 15 or 20 sacks next year. It just wouldn't surprise me a bit. It would not surprise me a bit. This is what he ultimately said right here. Kyle Shanahan explains firing DC Steve Wilks. This is the Warner House. A little shout out to them on the X. Quote, "It was a really tough decision because it says nothing about Steve as a man or as a football coach. He's exactly what we wanted as a man. He's a great football coach. But just where we're going, where we're at as a team, from a scheme standpoint, it never was a scheme fit. I hated this hiring. Looking through it all throughout the year to these last few days, we felt pretty strongly that this was a decision that was best for the organization. So that tells you right there, it was a Steve Wilks, we win the Super Bowl, or they were going to let him go no matter what. He just told you, Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, told you, this guy was gone. This guy was gone. And it was a year-long situation. I think they realized pretty quickly throughout the year, especially after the Vikings game, they had chosen a poor fit for the personnel that they had. Yeah, he seemed to be doing pretty well in Carolina on defense. I still wouldn't have given him that job, but I mean, I'd have given Frank Wright more time too, but you got a lunatic owner out there, okay? Somebody said earlier, well, Kyle Shanahan won't have the guts to fire him. Wrong answer. Him and John Lynch, and that's the one thing I give Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch credit for, they're very aggressive. They're very aggressive, and they understand they've got a great team on both sides of the ball. So they are going for it. They're telling you right here, I don't know who they're going to hire. There's a lot of fire around Bill Belichick right now, a lot of fire around Mike Vrabel. And I said earlier, if you want to go back to the Seattle scheme, you go back to the dude that spawned Dan Quinn, Gus Bradley, Robert Saleh, DeMeco Ryans. You go get Pete Carroll. You call him and see if he's willing to do it. Now, Gus Haberman said earlier he didn't think because I asked Haberman if he thought that was a thing, and he didn't think that ultimately Pete Carroll would go do it. I don't know. But you get somebody. They got somebody in mind already for this job. I would guess, I would suspect, unless it's somebody we're just not thinking about, they've got something. Rex Ryan is the other one I would be thinking very hard about. I bet Rex Ryan, he's gnawing at the bit to come to be the defensive coordinator in San Francisco. So don't sleep on Rex Ryan either, not one bit. I take Rex Ryan every day of the week and twice on NFL Sunday over Steve Wilks. And if Belichick wasn't out there, I tell you, if I have to rank, I'd be like Belichick, Rex Ryan, Pete Carroll, Mike Vrabel. That would be my rank right now on what I'd be looking at. All of them ex-head coaches. You give them the assistant head coach moniker so you can pay them a little bit more money. You've got more experience in big games. I mean, if you get Rex, 2 AFC championship games, just another set of eyeballs on the situation as a whole. I love this move. I love it. 10 out of 10. I know there's already mainstream media pundits and people crying for all kind of reasons that's got nothing to do with sports. From a football standpoint, I give the move a 10 out of 10. Great move, Kyle Shanahan. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.